Hey folks, welcome back to the channel.
Hello.
We're out and about today. I want to answer a question that comes up on our comments and on Google in general, and that is for people that look like us. What is the experience when you travel abroad or live abroad? So we want to give the perspective from our point of view. Like I said, just our point of view. We understand that everyone's experience could be different, but this is what it's like here for us.
Living in Ecuador.
Yep.
Our experience living in Ecuador, and we can talk about our experience when we were in Salinas, and we can talk about our experience in Cuenca.
Yep. Now, first thing we do as expats here is we try not to draw attention to ourselves, like walking down the street holding the camera like I am right now. Isn't something that I normally do. But that being said, our experience when it comes to how people see us, I don't look like the typical local. I can't help that. LaShawn definitely gets mistaken quite a bit. However, we both still get approached and spoken to in Spanish as if we are locals, which we don't mind at all, honestly. Helps us learn. But we know that appearance means a lot. Okay, got positioned a little better here. LaShawn's up on the curb so she can be more in line with me. Anyway, we were talking about appearance. That is the first thing we do to try not to stand out as expats, but being people of color here, it doesn't really seem to be that much of an issue for us. Like I said, I don't look like a local anyway, so I'm going to stand out. But we don't get treated in any kind of, I don't know, way that seems off-putting or anything like that. I think maybe when it comes to what I was saying is that we don't get treated differently, that we notice. I mean, weird little occasions, like we're on the bus sometimes when someone might get on the bus who doesn't have enough money on their card, and this happens actually quite a bit. And they'll usually just ask someone on the bus, can I use their card? And they'll give them 30 cents or 35 cents or whatever it is for the bus ride. However, I have seen this happen several times. Well, they'll look at us and then look at the next person as if they just assume we aren't going to, either don't have it or aren't going to give them the card. That doesn't happen every time because we've definitely been asked. It's just weird little things like that. Overall, the experience hasn't been negative. We kind of get ignored in a way that for us personally isn't that bad. But for maybe the local Afro community, it is kind of a problem. So speaking of the Afro community here, they are kind of invisible. That's a whole kind of a separate story and issue, and we've actually been doing stuff with the Afro community that we'll talk about in a later video probably. But being that that community is pretty invisible, when we're out and about, we kind of get treated that way. People just kind of ignore us for the most part. I mean, It's harder to ignore me, obviously. I'm 6'1", I'm a pretty big guy, harder to ignore. However, I don't know if being a person of color here, that we stand out as much as maybe a white expat. Like, just being honest, because it's usually quite obvious from a distance that that person's a foreigner, which is kind of to our benefit.
Yeah, we talked about this in a previous video, that being here in Ecuador, we're treated differently and not looked at as we would be looked at if we were in the U.S. You know, we're not watched and followed like we would be in the U.S. if we went into a store. A lot of times they just come and ask if I need any help. If I don't, they just walk away.
Yeah, and the instinct is that, oh, that person is just following me. Well, no, they actually do it to everybody. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah, because I guess they may get deaf a lot, and you see it on a lot of the like if you see it on the Facebook groups, they have a camera in the store or outside the store. It doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah,
they can get robbed or
have things stolen.
Yeah.
So yeah, they kind of take the same precaution with everyone. So don't take it personal. If you come here and someone's following you around the store, they will do it to anybody. And from our experience, it's mostly pleasant. Anywhere we go, people will just ask us for help. They ask us questions. Now, we've been mistaken for employees before, for whatever reason, but it was never like malicious or mean or anything like that.
That's usually what you would see if you see an Afro-Ecuadorian. They're usually doing janitorial work or assisting stocking or something like that.
Not to say there aren't any professionals. It's just what you see the most. And if people see you, they might just assume that, and it's not malicious. It's just what they're used to seeing. The experience itself is pretty pleasant, and honestly, our experience overall as travelers has been pretty positive. We haven't had any like racial type of issues that we could point out.
Right.
Like I said, it's different for anybody, but for us, it's been pretty pleasant. And here in Ecuador, it's been really, honestly, great. We want to speak about, we're going to talk about Salinas real quick. In Salinas, we lived on the beach. There's a house alarm going off. Ignore it. We lived on the beach. So there was a lot of police, a lot of transit officers and stuff. And you'd honestly think they would pay more attention to us. Coming from the US, we just felt like they would pay more attention to us when they completely ignored us.
Yeah.
And it was kind of the most refreshing thing that we had dealt with, like when we first moved to Ecuador, that these guys would completely ignore us, whether I was on our scooter or whatever. And that was kind of great. And that's kind of the way it is here, where you're just another person walking around.
Yeah, we're not doing anything obvious. Like Steve said, we don't try to bring any attention to us. Of course, I don't wear a bunch of jewelry. I don't have to. I don't need to do that because it's just accessories, and I'm just fine without it. I'm not saying you can't wear it, because there are definitely people here that wear jewelry. Mm-hmm. Even if you're in the U.S. and you wear a lot of jewelry, you still can be a target in the U.S.
Yeah.
Because if someone wants to rob you, they're gonna rob you.
Yeah, and we have no reason to flaunt anything here. There's just really no purpose for it. That I will say that as a black traveler, if you don't want to bring attention to yourself, don't bring attention to yourself. If you want to, then that's what you're going to do. You're gonna be flossy, and people are going to see you. But if you just want to be kind of ignored and just go about your business, you have to play it that way. There's two reasons I never wear a hat. I probably should, because the UV is crazy here.
He should. I'm going to find him one.
But I honestly look like a tourist if I put on a hat. You will see Ecuadorians wear baseball caps sometimes. Every once in a while, you might see someone wearing like a Panama hat. You will almost always see some expats wearing those Panama hats, and they definitely look like tourists. And I just don't want to look like that.
Well, we wouldn't get you a Panama hat anyway. I would try to find you a baseball hat or a hat that give you some type of UV coverage.
I got a big weird head. Hats don't look good on me anyway. But
it does. He just don't want to wear it. It's an excuse.
I've really gotten used to it, honestly. But it's just one of the reasons I don't wear a hat, because it honestly will make. I'm already a head taller than almost everybody.
It doesn't mean you would look like a tourist.
No. I'm just saying that hat it would just stick out. It would stick out.
Stick out.
Yeah, I know, but it would stick out more. No.
You're going to stick out regardless. So it doesn't make a difference. If you already stick it out, just stick out.
Yeah, okay. That, and there's certain things that we just don't do. We dress normally, we don't wear like hiking gear walking around the city or whatever. You will see that. We just try not to stand out. We just
try to blend in.
Right. We try to blend in as much as possible. Especially when we're on like the bus or whatever. We're not trying to stand out.
We get looked at when we're on the bus. Well, he gets looked at more so than I do.
Especially kids.
He gets on the bus. When I'm not with him, it's a totally different experience. People are very, helpful. Mm-hmm. Like if I have bags or whatnot, I've had a guy ask to hold my bags while I got on the bus and scan my card, which was very nice. People offer seats. When I'm with Steve, it's not so much.
Opposite.
It's like, oh, she got an expat, so she good.
Well, she's got a guy, she got a dude with her. He's gonna handle it. But that's fine. That's fine. The people don't treat us any different. If an older lady asked me to pick up a bag and put it on the bus for her, and that thing was heavy. I don't know how she lifted it.
I don't think she lifted it. I think she had somebody to bring it.
I don't know.
And then she got Steve to put it on the bus.
That joker I was surprised when I picked it up. I was like, oh, good gracious. Yeah, we don't get treated any different. I think that's my main point here.
Okay, and also when we went to Europe, when we was in Italy and Paris, nothing.
Yeah.
It was just like a normal day.
Yeah. Bali, totally normal.
Yeah.
No one treated us different.
No different. And I mean, I'm pretty sure they knew we were tourists,
Yeah.
because we didn't speak the language. However, it wasn't like harsh looks or anything like that. Like, oh, why are you here? You shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
None of that.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, you're welcome. Come in.
Italy and Paris, I think, it was just so normal because there's so many immigrants in Europe. Like, so it was totally normal. They might not even know that we were tourists, honestly. Here, it's like you're either tourists or you live here, and a lot of people can't tell the difference depending on how you present yourself, which we appreciate.
If I spoke fluent Spanish, it would be a piece of cake.
Oh, it'll be wonderful. It'll be absolutely wonderful. So we say all that to say this. If you're thinking about traveling to Ecuador as a person of color from North America or anywhere else, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. You're not going to, be discriminated against in a way that, from our experience,
Okay, because I was about to say,
from our
you
experience.
cannot say that for everyone because we don't know.
Yeah.
Your experience could be different depending on what you're doing, depending on, I don't know,
a lot of things.
because we had a friend who came to Ecuador who had a different experience when he went into the Central Temple.
Right.
So his experience was different. Not sure why.
Yeah, and I think that was like a time, place, and appearance thing, like where those things all link up to where, being a person of color might get you targeted by the police. However, that same thing could happen to us anywhere. It's not necessarily indicative of like the entire culture though, but just be mindful sometimes if you are a person of color, think about where you are. Find out the places that you're going to be in and where you're traveling, and if you might get targeted by like the police. The people might not bother you at all, but the police might think that you're up to something. You never know.
Never know.
So yeah, like we said, just, get that passport, get to traveling, and honestly, try to find those experiences for yourself and see how it is, see how it works out. I can just say for us, it's been positive.
And if you have any other questions, drop them down in the comment field section and we'll be glad to answer them. And thank you again for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.
Bye.